My judgment would be is, can the Americans and the Chinese agree on the essential shape of the emerging global rules-based system? If they can, there's a new form of ballast. If they can't, then we see radical divergence. Xi Jinping's view of the world starts first and foremost with the Chinese Communist Party. He wants the party to prosper. For the world at large, China wishes to be seen as the indispensable economic power. I think what they'd want is a global rules-based system which is more compatible with the values of China's own indigenous domestic tradition. If Xi Jinping could get away with all of that, that's where he'd wish to land it. There are two ways in which to look at the Belt and Road Initiative, the BRI. One is, in the narrower prism, which is important, that this is a pan-continental infrastructure initiative. That is, it does for Eurasia what the transcontinental railways did for North America in the 19th century. The second is, China seeking to develop a much more accommodating geostrategic and geoeconomic space, which is much more attentive to China's core national interests. China, in its long-standing political tradition, has not been in the business of exporting its political system abroad. However, because China is now a global economic power and of some force, the reality is the way in which China does projects is Chinese. And as a consequence, assumptions about how you engage other governments on the question of project selection, project financing, local environmental and labour standards will be driven by China's consciousness of the way in which it's done these things at home. We are now at a difficult, very difficult stage in the U.S. China relationship. One exit ramp for the U.S. China relationship, given the current difficulties, is to find the way through on a temporary trade accommodation. That, however, is going to require more creativity on the Chinese side and elasticity than they're used to deploying. Trump is not about to disappear. So a deal must be struck. And can it be struck in order to put this engine back on the railway tracks called the U.S. China relationship? I think it can. But if it's not, one level of difficulty compounds another and compounds another, and then we end up in a much more problematic situation.